All right, children, so now you're at the point where you're ready to vacuum form your car. And up to this point now, you've cut out your piece of foam, you've designed it to an aerodynamic shape, and you have put some holes in your vehicle where you think air may get trapped in the vacuum forming process. So on this truck, you can see that I inserted a hole behind the cab. I put 2 holes in there, and I've also put one at the front near the hood of the truck where that actually meets the windshield. When it vacuum forms, there's a chance that the air cannot escape from these areas, and then you'll be left with a bubble in your vacuum forming process. So right now, I have my truck ready to go. I also have Mr. McHugh's truck ready to go. You can see how fancy that thing is completed. And you want to get with a partner. So when you reach these steps, you now have your vehicle, you now have your partner's vehicle, and what you guys are going to do is you're going to then agree on selecting a piece of plastic that you would like to use for this process. When selecting your piece of plastic, you have multiple colors that you can choose from. Keep in mind, at the end, you are going to decorate your vehicle, so that way you might not want to choose the color black or something that is dark if you plan on decorating your car in dark colors. So for this, I selected that we are going to use yellow for this process. Once I selected my piece of plastic, I am then going to come over to the vacuum forming system. The vacuum forming system is going to have a plastic transportation unit, your PTU, and what this thing is going to do is this is going to transport the plastic from the vacuum forming side over to the heating element. So the plastic that you're going to use does not have a wrong side, meaning that both of these sides of the plastic are both the same. And what I'm going to do is I am going to stick this in the PTU, and I am going to clamp this down. So with the clamps, you just want to make sure that they are extended. You are then going to slide the latch over top and secure it. And I'm going to do the same on the opposite side. Now that I have the plastic in the transportation unit, I can now transfer this piece of plastic safely back and forth from the vacuum side over to the heating element side. Before I go and turn the heater on or turn on the venting system over here, I want to now set this thing up. So over on this table is going to be where the vacuum forming is going to take place. As you can see that there is already tape marks, and there is also marker marks where your cards are going to go. You can see that there's little holes inside this table, and how this table works is it works just like an air hockey table. The only difference is instead of air going out of the holes, it's actually going to suck air down through the holes, which is going to create the vacuum that we're going to do. So when I'm ready for this process, I'm going to select these 2 dog bones, and these dog bones, or these little pieces of wood, are going to rest inside the taped areas. And I want to make sure that they are lined up according to the marks that are going to be on the table. Once they are lined up, you are then going to take your cars and you're going to place them on top of the dog bones. And you want to make sure they are aligned evenly front and back and side to side with one another. Okay. Now we're at the point where we are ready to heat this piece of plastic up to make it malleable so we can form it over top of these 2 objects. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to turn on the venting system. The venting system is going to be used to remove the smell of the melted plastic so it does not stink up the room. What I'm going to do over here is my heating element side. I'm going to turn on the heating element switch to the on position. When it is in the on position, you'll see that there is a light on and it is working properly. At this point, what we're doing is we're looking at the plastic. The plastic, because it's trapping heat, is going to start to rise and it's going to start to inflate. So all that trapped heat inside of there has no place to go, so it's going to expand the plastic in an upward direction. Once the plastic becomes soft, it will then shrink and it will actually go back down from gravity pressing on it, and it will actually tighten up. So right now you can see the waves and the heat moving around underneath that plastic. Right now it just shrunk. It's just sinking right back down inside. Now what you want to do is, as it's starting to tighten back up, you want to eye up underneath the heating element And you're going to wait for this belly. There's going to be a little collapse in the belly that's going to form. And that's when you're going to know it's about at the right time to move it. If you move it too soon, the plastic isn't melted enough in order to perform the task. And if you do it too late, it's going to be way too soft and it will actually get stuck onto the heating element, or it will become wrinkled on your cars. So right now it's starting to really drop as it gets warm. We are almost at the point where we are going to switch this over. And what I'm going to do, I have to move fairly quickly, is I'm going to move this over from one side to the other. I'm going to quickly clamp this, and I'm going to hold down the vacuum for about 5 seconds. And I'm going to release. At this point, now my cars, it's still going to be hot to the touch till the vacuum forming actually stops. And then what I can do is I can release this from the PTU, the plastic transportation unit. And now you can see that you have 2 trucks that are finished. Now, what you can notice between the two, I did put 2 holes in the back of this truck so you can see where the air had escaped. Over here on this one, there was no holes in it, so you can see how it did trap the air. The hoods are actually pretty much both the same, but you can see the detail in the back between the 2 vehicles. Once you've reached this point, then we've already had the 2 dog bones actually fall out. They are located right here. Make sure you get returned to the table, and then you and your partner can cut out your vehicles.